Henry Tucker was born sometime in 1843 in northern Alabama, in an area near Glen Allen, Alabama. It isn't clear what Henry did during his early life, and like so many others we have covered so far, records of his childhood and upbringing are lacking. Much of his early life remains a mystery. By the time Henry was 18 years old, the Civil War, fought between the northern and southern states, had already begun. In 1863, Henry made the decision to serve in the conflict. Rather than joining the Confederate cause, Henry chose to enlist in the Union Army, specifically in the 1st Alabama Cavalry Regiment. The 1st Alabama Cavalry was composed of men from both Alabama and Tennessee, with its first muster call having taken place in 1862. During his service, Henry likely took part in the duties the regiment was known for, including scouting, raiding, reconnaissance, and flank screening for infantry units as the war raged on. On February 5, 1864, Henry's service came to an end, and he returned home to wait out the remainder of the conflict. Despite this, Henry had heavily thought about re-enlisting and returning to the fight. Unfortunately, Henry would never get that opportunity. At the time, a unit of men known as the Home Guard, also referred to as the Dog Cavalry Rangers, was prowling the Alabama countryside. Their purpose was either to scare men into service for the Confederate Army or outright kill anyone unwilling to fight for the cause. This group was led by a man named Stoke Roberts. Roberts made it his mission to hunt down any so-called traitor in the region and make them pay for refusing to serve the Confederate cause. Roberts was not acting under orders from any commanding officers. He was, by all accounts, a vigilante, enforcing what he personally believed to be in the Confederate States' best interests. Sometime shortly after Henry returned home, likely in March or April of 1864, Stoke Roberts and his group of Home Guard arrived at Henry's home. Henry's wife made a desperate attempt to hide him, with both fully aware of the outcome should Henry be discovered. The men ransacked the house, and eventually found Henry hiding inside a meat box in the kitchen. He was dragged outside, tied up, thrown over the back of a horse, and ridden away, never to be seen alive again. 4 days later, Henry's body was discovered hanging upside down from a tree. He had been tortured and horribly mutilated. A neighbor, William Royal, later stated he could hear Henry's screams and pleas for mercy from approximately a mile and a half away. The atrocities committed against Henry were far too gruesome to detail in this video, but there is no doubt that he paid the highest price and met a horrifying end for doing what he believed was right. As tragic as Henry's death was, acts of violence like this were all too common during the war. Both the North and South committed war crimes, and far too often, little or nothing was ever done in response. Henry Tucker was laid to rest in the Natural Bridge Cemetery in Winston County, Alabama. Every family has a story, every story has a past, and sometimes that past is buried beneath silence, fear, or time itself. By uncovering these stories, we're reminded that history isn't just dates and battles, it's people, choices, and consequences that still echo generations later. Thank you all for stopping by. Until next time.